Hello, I'm IPX and welcome back to the video. Today we'll be continuing my journey through the top 10 best Minecraft updates with the 9th best Minecraft update for the Java edition of the game, and this is Minecraft Beta 1.3. This is going to be a really interesting update because we're going so far back in time for this one. It's one of the updates which really shaped the game, and in my opinion, one of the reasons I think it's my favorite, but also for the reasons inside, is because this is the first update for Minecraft I ever saw while I was playing the game. I started in 1.2, and then the next night when I updated the game in the morning, because I was playing all night when I first played Minecraft, it was Beta 1.3. This is the very first update I ever saw. These were the very first set of new features the game ever got, and today I wanted to show you Minecraft Beta 1.3, so hopefully you do all enjoy the video. Liking it's a good thing you can do, but with that said, let's get straight into mentioning the very first thing you'll notice, which is the title screen. So, like how, before we went back to, oh, this is back before it said Minecraft Java, this is back before they had the Minecraft logo, which we all know and love with the, classic Minecraft font. There's not even a creeper in the A here. This is just Minecraft built out of stone with a little splash text logo over it. Also, there's no fancy background. There's just a bunch of dirt, blocks like, I guess, copy-pasted over each other, so that's kind of interesting, and also it says the version number in the top left rather than down in the bottom left. So, fun fact, there we go, there's our title screen. There's also a lot less options. If you go into the options, you'll see how there's just less things going on here. Like, seriously, there's like 5 different settings. We'll turn the difficulty down low, we'll turn it on to normal. You can see the video settings, same thing, where it's like, oh, we get like 6 different options, and basically, yeah, there's just a lot less options in this version of the game. Even when you create a new world, you literally have 2 options. You have a world name, which in this case, we'll go for Beta 1.3, we'll use like a capital E because why not? And then you get a seed, so you can type in any seed you want. We're going to go for IVX Toycat today, but with that said, let's get straight into the very first thing I want to mention, which is when this update came out. So this update, Minecraft Beta 1.3, came out in the 22nd of February 2011. This was a pretty interesting time for the game because, obviously, again, it was just after the game had really started getting going, after sales really started rolling in, which is obviously why I picked up the game for the first time. But, yeah, then when the update did release, it was rather interesting because it was the first, major update that changed the game in so many different ways, and also it's rather interesting because it's not the only Minecraft 1.3 version that has released. It was the first Minecraft 1.3, but now there is a Minecraft 1.3 for the Bedrock, there's a Minecraft 1.3 for the main Java, and I just think it's kind of interesting that there's so many 1.3s now. There's Alpha 1.3 as well, and yeah, this is the first one that wasn't, like Alpha, but it was a full part of Minecraft, but now there's 2 others. So yeah, Minecraft 1.3 is one of the most common names for updates, especially now, but today, of course, I am talking about Beta 1.3. So what did come inside this update is the next question you might ask. And to answer that question simply, there's quite a few features you will find. So again, because we do the whole, let's check out the update how it fully is, I feel like the best thing about these videos, because it is, somewhat of a subjective list, obviously, you can argue that, any update on this list is the best and any update is the worst, but, since it is a subjective look at the updates, I feel like one of the best things to do is to show you how gameplay and how the update actually looks when you play it and you go through it like normal. So here I am, chopping down some trees, and you might be wondering why I'm doing this, and that's because this update included quite a few new things which really changed things for, I guess, in a fairly significant, massive way. So, yeah, the first one is the fact that, if we can find some sheep, this added beds to the game for the very first time. This update was such a huge one because adding beds really did change everything. You might be wondering, why did beds change everything? What's the big deal with beds? And that is because, obviously, beds allow you to sleep through the night. For the very first time in Minecraft, you weren't just kind of limited to, oh yeah, you sleep, half your day is spent in the day where, everything's fine, you can kill pigs, and half the day is spent, cowering from monsters. Instead, in this update, once you'd, mastered the bed, which, honestly, it wasn't that much mastery. It's you punch some sheep. By the way, back in beta, this is how you get wool from sheep. It was a little bit more or less violent, depending on your opinions. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this. By the way, my skin is different in this because it uses a different skin system, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we're going to make ourselves a crafting table, and I'm going to show you the bed. So everyone knows the bed, but again, it's crazy seeing these items when they were first introduced. This is the very first form of bed we ever saw, but the other thing that just came in this update for the first time, because there was cobblestone slabs before this update too. By the way, look, very first bed, only came in red. I know that's a new thing, but still, only came in red, was a little bit shiny, and allowed you to sleep in it every time it turned to night, and just skip an entire portion of Minecraft. But the other crazy thing about this update is it introduced half slabs to the game for the first time. I mean, technically they existed before, like I said, but they only existed in a really, really technical form because you get cobblestone slabs, and who really wants cobblestone slabs? Not everyone, right? But for the very first time, this update officially added, the half stab of, wood slabs as we're seeing saying right here, which means that you could make half slabs out of wood, you could make them out of real stone. All of these different slabs were added to the game for the first time. The sandstone slab as well, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, this added these different slabs to the game for the first time, and honestly, it's one of the big mistakes in Minecraft. It involves, like, you know, notch and jeb think, because, again, Minecraft should be about these full-size blocks. It's a blocky game, right? Like, if you add more micro detail, you kind of ruin some of that, but it's one of the most liked features of all time. People love the fact that in this update, you could, you know, have the half slabs. The detail you could put in Minecraft literally just doubled as of this update, and it's kind of a big deal for that reason. But it's not just the half slabs, it's not just the beds, although both these features, think about it. Beds revolutionize how you play survival Minecraft. By the way, survival Minecraft is just Minecraft here. No creative mode for a long time to come. But basically, you know, beds, you know, revolutionize survival Minecraft. These half slabs, again, the cobblestone ones are kind of boring, but the wooden slabs and the sandstone slabs in particular, they revolutionize building. And then the redstone repeater was added for the first time in this update also, which allows you to, again, it delays redstone by up to like it's like 10 ticks instead of 1. But basically, redstone repeaters came in this update for the very first time, and that is such a huge thing for redstone people. It allowed the creation of, you know, have you ever seen that video of like, oh, I guess, have you ever seen the huge computer in Minecraft? That was made possible with this update. And although at the time, when this update first came out, I didn't properly understand it, it was something, you know, that allowed for so many different builds to be made, because as of this update, redstone repeaters were put in there. So yeah, there was only 3 major features in this update. Again, there were lots of other ones. You know, they had the graphics menu, they added a, you know, the Mojang screen before the start of the game, where it goes, Mojang, you know, that was out the first time. There's a bunch of, like, tinier changes, like, this is the first time where you could have more than 5 worlds. If you look at my, you know, my menu screen right here, if you'd actually look back here, you can see how before this, you'd have world A, world B, world C, world D, world E, and that was it. You couldn't have, like, how many worlds I have right here, most of which are made from, like, future Minecraft updates, so let's try not to load into any of those, and that's the most interesting thing about this. Also, look at those load times. That was really fast, right? But yeah, basically, this update changed a lot of things about the game. It changed everything for redstone users. It made all these crazy things possible. It made builders have these, you know, insane new levels, and also, if you're a survival player, you could master the game on a whole nother level, and I think those 3 things, they're all fundamentally Minecraft to this day. People love their half slabs more than they love, you know, like a newborn baby or something. Like, I swear to God, by the way, you might have noticed earlier, but the crafting recipe for them is actually only gives you 3 half slabs, which, I mean, matches how the, you know, the stairs work, which, you know, fun little fact about those. Here you can see wooden stairs, different little texture. But yeah, that basically, one of the things I find to be crazy about this update is that it changed so much at the set, but at the same time, it seems like a fairly small change. Look, if this update came out today, we'd be like, oh, those are 3 fairly small features, but because it came out all these years ago, and we've seen the knock-on impact, we can see just how huge each of them was, even the graphics menu. So again, this is only for the PC version, but video settings came for the first time. You could pick how, you know, you want your graphics. There were 4 render distance, sorry. There's tiny here, which we'll play on just for the fun of it, because I feel like this is the best representation, and yeah, it feels a little bit like you're playing the very earliest versions of Minecraft P, right? And that's, you know, for a good reason. So yeah, basically that's what this update did good, that's what it added well. What did it do badly though? So what did this update do badly then? Well, it's not like the current modern day updates where there's, you know, like a lot of detractors and positive things. So a lot of the things that you might look at and say like, well, that was done badly, right? Is actually not, it's kind of mild by today's standards. But I will mention them regardless, because essentially in this update, you know, Minecraft Beta 1.3, it was the one of the longest times between 2 updates at the time. When Minecraft Beta and Alpha were going on, again, bear in mind, in just the, you know, it was like 2 years, it went from being the tiniest, like, you know, like classic, pre-classic thing into being like the full beta release. Essentially, this was a month, it was a month and a week, like 5 or 6 weeks. It was January the 13th, Beta 1.2 came out, and it was, you know, February 22nd this came out. That was a month and 9 days between the updates. A long time, basically, at the time, which, again, you can argue is a bad thing, given that all it really added was beds and, you know, half slabs, which, again, nowadays we know they're big features, but at the time it's like, oh, there's going to be a big one coming, and then it turns out it's this. And it's kind of funny that that kind of mirrors how things are today. Like, a lot of people expect things to be done in a certain time, and then they're like, wait, this is all you've done in that time. But the truth is like, you don't know how significant a feature is or how hard it is to code until well after the fact, how, you know, like, how it's actually going to affect the game. So that's just something interesting I figured I'd mention. The only real negatives about this update are the fact that, 1, obviously it, you know, added the, you know, it took so long to make, and 2, it added the Mojang screen to the game, which, again, has been there ever since, and you could argue, like, oh, that takes, like, a few seconds of my time, and I don't want to load it. But yeah, for the most part, every feature in this update, because there weren't that many, again, it was mostly just a few major nowadays features. Most of the features in this update were fairly small. The only things that people ever complained about, and even then, very few people were like, oh yeah, increased slime spawn rates, and that sucks. You know, the game got a little bit harder, and also you could complain that it took a little bit long from this update to the last one, but otherwise, it was a generally universally just good update. There was nothing you can really say this update did badly for Minecraft, unless you dislike half slabs, which I would honestly say, like, yeah, adding half slabs for the first time in a real form, honestly, to some extent, even though some people love it, I agree with, like, you know, the Jeb opinion that, like, yeah, the more half slabs you add, the more every single block needs to be a half slab, and that's like a slippery slope, in my opinion, that we've led to now where we have, like, you know, 12 types of half slabs, and we have all these different, like, partial blocks because of this update right here. But besides that, yeah, just universally loved update. So let's move on to the final. So I've turned my render distance back to the furthest you can have in this update, which, I mean, it's kind of funny that this is like, you know, like our small render distances today. This is like what, you know, the 360 can handle, for instance, or like the PS3 or something. But anyway, we're going to talk about what this update, you know, like kind of can teach us for the future. Because again, this update, I feel like every update in this list, I want to have like, oh yeah, this is what's cool about it. Here's what it's like to play Minecraft in this previous update. So we could, you know, make ourselves a pickaxe if we want to. But the crazy thing about this update is not necessarily what it did at the time, but what it kind of meant for the future. I feel like this kind of shows that some changes in Minecraft, they seem really small at the time, but you don't realize how big they are until much later. Like, it's hard to judge, like, if dolphins, for instance, are a big deal until you've had dolphins for a while, until you play with them. So, for instance, llamas might seem like they're the biggest deal in the world, but the truth is they didn't really do that much to the game. Like, how often do you use them? Not very much, because they don't have much for use. And you can see the same thing kind of happen in a lot of places with this update, where at the time, you might have thought all of these things were small. Like, a bed. I mean, do you need a bed in Minecraft? Do we need furniture? I want to see more survival armor. So, you know, Jeb or not sure, whatever. You know, I want to see more of these, you know, survival features and stuff. Why are you only adding beds? Half slabs? Why do we need half slabs? We already have full slabs. We can just combine 2 full slabs and we can get a half slab. By the way, all half slabs have to be broken with a pickaxe at the time. Fun little fact. Like, you know, what's even the point? I'm just making full blocks right here. What's going on right here? And also, look how weird that is. But basically, yeah, you might say that in response to it. But the truth is, half slabs have defined Minecraft for many. They've allowed many of the craziest things possible to be made. For instance, the video settings. Like, oh, well, we shouldn't have the control over that. It's too much. You can kind of argue badly about any of these things, but this update was universally just a good thing, and that's why it's 9th on the list. The only reason it's not higher is because, again, only 3 major features, but there are 3 features that we all see to this day: half slabs, video settings, and or half slabs, redstone repeaters, and beds. And obviously, if you play PC, it's worth mentioning the video setting things too. But yeah, that's what this update kind of brought, and it's one of these smaller. That's weird. That's an interesting interaction. It's one of these smaller and more intriguing, in my opinion, I guess, one of these updates to see, and it's something I figured was worth checking out. I hope you all enjoyed this video, showing the 9th best update in Minecraft. Again, this is a countdown from the 10th best update to the 1st best update, so if you want to see the playlist, it'll be linked in just a few seconds on screen. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in a couple of days for the 8th best update of all time. Goodbye.